A very good evening to you. This is your Financial Week. I'm Dwayne Burbick. Finance Minister Audley Shaw continues to push for lower interest rates in the market. Mr. Shaw, who has made the issue a priority of his tenure, keeps making the call for lending entities to follow. Dashan Hendricks reports.
Audley Shaw is still on the issue of high interest rates, like a stump speech.
We have to get out of this thinking, this high interest rate thinking.
He said though the productive sector gets money at rates around 10%, the general level of interest rates, which average 17%, is still too high.
Commercial bank rates need to get irretrievably into single digits, like the rest of the world.
Mr. Shaw questions why interest rates remain high when inflation is under control.
But then if we have an inflation rate of 4%, why are we insisting on interest rates averaging 16%? No, doesn't make sense.
He said he was told by his technocrats that some interest rates were kept high because of the sliding dollar. But he said he told them,
stabilize the wretched exchange rate, which is what we have done.
He says that the onus now is on lenders to cut rates. For the Financial Week, I am Dashan Hendricks.
In the meantime, Mr. Shaw says he's adamant that the report into the financial sector meltdown of the 1990s must come to light. The report, which is more popularly called the FinSac report, is expected to be tabled during this fiscal year after the Commission of Inquiry into the matter ended 5 years ago.
Regardless of what that report says, I can report to you that one of the negative effects of that collapse of the 1990s was the depressing effect that it had on the entrepreneurial propensities of the country.
Mr. Shaw says rising interest rates were a factor in the collapse of many businesses. He pointed out that interest rates, which began at 15%, rose rapidly to 53%, with penalties on overdraft of up to 120%.
Not even if you're involved in the most lucrative trade. Ganja, cocaine, scamming. Anyone could hardly survive those kinds of extortionist interest rates.
And speaking of ganja, CEO of Jamaica Tea's John Mahfood says his company will not be expanding its product line into Ganja Tea in the near future. Mr. Mahfood, who was speaking at his company's annual general meeting on Wednesday, said Ganja Tea is not being considered because of restrictions of the current legislation.
If we bagged ganja as a tea, there is, right now you're only allowed to carry what? 2 ounces. So if we were to put it in a case and it was 1 pound and a distributor had 100 cases, so he would be, so it is illegal. It would not be legal now to sell it.
He said other issues such as reducing the hallucinogenic property of ganja to make it into a tea also poses a challenge. Mr. Mahfood said those issues will have to be sorted out before Jamaican teas develop a ganja tea for distribution. And that's your Financial Week. I'm Dwayne Burbick. Good evening.